The lack of access to healthcare and education intensifies the need to get out of poverty as fast as possible. Filipino women are deeply attached to their families. Marrying a wealthy foreigner for money is not frowned upon as long as she will help in improving the lives of her parents and siblings. Filipino women, especially those with poor educational background, see foreigners as their ticket out of poverty. If most Filipino women marry for these reasons and not for love, then why do foreigners still want to marry them? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and for today's video, we will talk about the controversial issue about the Filipinas and the foreigners that are dating to each other. As what other people say, that Filipinas only date foreigner because of his money and not because of love. And why does foreigners still wanted to marry a Filipina despite the bad image that other people given to a Filipina? So, let's find out. In relation to our previous video, I've read a lot of comments about the Filipinas and the foreigners. Some of those are good and some of those are bad. So, let's read the first one. The Filipinos are only interested in foreigners for their money. They don't know the meaning of love. I would rather live on my own. I found out that the hard way. I married one, and then she scammed me and to get a UK visa and then left me. The other comment that I've seen that will relate to our topic for today is that if you marry a Filipina whose family is poor, then there is a much higher chance you will be expected to support them. As one expat mentioned on his channel, if you date or marry a Filipina whose family is a middle class, there is a far less chance they will expect to support from you. What I said, it makes sense, as Filipinos are a proud people and wouldn't ask for support if they didn't need it. But honestly, poor families could use some help. The other comment that I've read is that what if you got opportunity and money and resources from a foreigner? If that man loves you and helps you out of the position, be proud and thankful. Here, people are in America trying to do it all and on their own, and they don't want to work together. Women have become hyper independent to the point where they won't be dependent on a man. As the Bible states, be submissive. And guess how that works for them over here? Divorce rates are skyrocketing, relationship failing, hookup culture is way too prevalent, family values gone, and women are more depressed than ever. Don't let them shame you for depending on a man. That's our little job, to take care of our women and kids. You won't shame me for being a provider, and you won't shame my woman for being a nurturer, because we see how terrible it is in the West, as everyone is trying to do it all the way they want without thinking. You guys are suffering. Because of the internet and social media, it is now easier for man and woman to meet someone from the other side of the world. It's not so hard to imagine why marriage between different races are now prevalent. However, some argue that Filipino women marry foreigner not because of love, but primarily for financial stability. Why do Filipino women want to marry foreigners, especially Americans? Marrying for money is normal for some people, especially if their life is poor and hard and want to get out of poverty. Philippines, once a third world country, is currently a developing country. However, The opportunity for a better life is still limited. The lack of access to healthcare and education intensifies the need to get out of poverty as fast as possible. Another thing to consider is that Filipino women are deeply attached to their families. Marrying a wealthy foreigner for money is not frowned upon as long as she will help in improving the lives of her parents and siblings. Filipinos also have this notion that people earning dollars are financially well off. It is also the reason why most Filipinos prepare to work abroad than to its country. Filipino women, especially those with poor educational background, see foreigners as their ticket out of poverty. Most people still find the practice wrong, but can we blame the Filipino woman for wanting a better life? Even though the Filipino woman is benefiting by being financially stable, the foreign man also gains companionship and care. Some Filipino women marry white foreign men for the opportunity provided that the typical worker in Manila earns about 10 to 11 USD a day. Those living in the province earn well lower than the city. Working abroad has always been a dream of most Filipinos struggling to survive from what little they make. It is another opportunity to send money to their family back home, giving them a more comfortable life to live. Another factor to consider is the beauty standard of the Philippines. Filipinos adore fair and white skin. Most Filipinos women are using bleaching products and whitening supplements to achieve a whiter skin color. Having a tall nose is another beauty standard that is common to Filipinos. If most Filipino women marry for these reasons and not for love, then why do foreigners still want to marry them? That is the questions that I want you to answer at the same time. I've come a lot to realizations lately while making this content. Maybe it's because Filipino women are different from the Western woman, right? Aside from the physical differences, Filipino women have a different culture and personality that most foreigners love. Filipinos are family oriented. They care for their families and respect their elders. Marrying a Filipino woman means you'll be part of a loving and caring family. Traditional family values are still deeply rooted in the Filipino culture. Because of this, respect and companionship will play a significant role in Filipino women's relationship. It's also an advantage if the foreign man is planning to start a family because Filipino women are dedicated and will do everything for their families. Filipino women also want a harmonious and fulfilling relationship. She will take care of her husband and will satisfy his need as much as she can. Filipino women are also loyal and respectful. It's part of their upbringing and culture. Despite the bad image associated with a Filipino woman, let us keep in mind that the marriage won't push through without the consent of the foreign man. Most foreign men looking for a Filipino wife are middle-aged or older than that. Some are divorced and came from angry and bitter relationships. It's also the reason why most people assume that the Filipino woman married the man for money. If not because of the man attractiveness, then what else? Yes, most, if not all, Filipino women marry for money. That's the truth that they hide from foreigners. However, they also do it in the hopes of learning to love the man eventually. This belief is common for arranged marriage, but it's also applicable in this situation. Despite the age gap and other people's judgment, women usually believe that they will learn to love their husbands genuinely in time. Some may say that Filipino women see marriage as nothing but a simple business transaction. Perhaps in some cases, that is true. Still, some couples do it for love. Genuine relationship rooted from love and friendship that still exists until now. It can be hard to stop judging this type of relationship, especially when some Filipino women do marry for money. Nevertheless, let us remember that we all have different preference in life. As long as the relationship is harmonious, then let us respect their decision. After all, it is not you that are in a relationship. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I hope that I would see you soon on my next vlog. If you have a content suggestion for my next topic, feel free to comment down below. And if you find this video helpful, put your thumbs up and a share so that your friends would know about the controversial issue of the Filipinas and the foreigners that are dating to each other. Goodbye!